So our first speaker of the day will be Ed Lamark. He's the CEO of Wealthfront, fintech company. We're very pleased to have him speak about some of the great progress that he's been making. So let's give him a warm welcome.
Morning, everyone. Thank you, Professor. I was an alum here. Obviously, I am an alum. It's been a while, but I've been asked to talk about data privacy and how it relates to wealth management, and actually specifically more of financial wellness. The Wealthpool is actually a financial technology startup, and I have some insightful examples here in the presentation to show you how we're using data. So, consumer-facing technology companies, the companies we all know and love, it's really been a divergence between what you see the largest consumer-facing companies doing. And it's all related to data privacy, right? The lower left is ad-driven specific companies, and in the upper right, the Apples and Netflixes of the world. They're all about, oh, I went too far. Sorry about that. They are more about the ecosystem of your data, right? And your data really does not leave their ecosystems, where in the lower left, in Google and Facebook, their data sets are being combined and from other third parties, right? And you hear out there, Tim Cook just recently saying, hey, other companies out there are weaponizing your data, right? And meanwhile, Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook is saying, they're charging $1,000 a phone, okay? So there's a big divide between the philosophies of how companies use our data, right, which leads us to the big bully out there, right, Amazon. So they kind of stand in between. And before they started out with really the most valuable data out there, let's face it, is when is the consumer in the market to buy something, okay? That's the most valuable data. So Amazon has leveraged that data set better than anyone out there. So in between, they fall in between because you know, they now, a big part of their revenue model is the subscription, right? The Amazon Prime, right? So they give away things for free, but yet they really make their bottom line by that subscription. Now, the Wealthpool aims to be somewhere in between, okay? We do have a free offering, but we also intend to offer a subscription offering. Now, again, it's not so much that in the lower left is bad and the upper right is good. It's not necessarily an altruistic decision. It's just what does your business model want to do and how do you want to protect consumer data? So wealth management really is about financial decisions. And you know, as consumers, we're really good at collecting our data, you know, whether it's a physical statement from our bank or electronically, connecting your accounts. But when it comes to analyzing and organizing our data, we're really weak on that front, right? So that's really where the pain points are for we as consumers. And companies out there, whether it's Amazon or Facebook or Google, they're helping you analyze and organize and helping you make purchasing decisions or wealth management decisions, right? So rather than be confused, we want to reach clarity. So the Wealthpool, that's our tagline, is clarity for financial decisions. And we do so by adding more of a technology component than advice. Actually, we dispense no financial advice, okay? And that's where things are headed now with data in financial institution and wealth management. It's less about here's the asset allocation you should be in to reach your financial goals. It's more about here's your data in the past, here's your goals in the future, what decisions do we have to make in order to reach those goals? So in the Wealthpool, we keep in mind the data privacy issue and the GDPR, which is a cornerstone of this conference. If you really dissect it, I look at it as being four components. Anonymity, okay? And you hear Tim Cook talk about this a lot. You want to de-identify consumer data, right? Then there's transparency. How do you collect that data? Be very forthright with your consumer client and prospect. Here's what we collect. Here's how we distribute it. And the ownership. Always keep in mind that your data is owned by you, right? And the products of today, thanks to GDPR, they have to really kind of re-engineer their business models and say, look, here's what we're make it abundantly clear, here's what we do with your data, and this is the value prop of you sharing your data. And then, of course, security, which is any business, whether it's a fintech or a bank, cybersecurity keeps you up at night. So let me give you an example in the Wealthpool, what we're doing to aggregate and anonymize data so as to give you some insightful feedback, right? Remember, you collected your data, now we want to analyze it and truly make decisions. So straightforward, we give you like percentiles and color. Here's an example of a couple in their early 30s. And their financial plan, all their data pulls this together, and they're expected to run out of money here at the age of 84. But like in '08, which is really why I built the Wealthpool, if the downturn in the markets goes down 40%, it has significant implications. Now, a family wants to know, how do they compare against everybody else out there? Right now, they're in the 50th percentile, and they can see in the Wealthpool what other households are investing in. And they can dissect into our data model to see exactly where they stand relative to others. Notice other households are not exposed, okay? But they get to compare their household to the pool. But now they want to compare themselves to families led by people in the early 30s. So they simply redirect the data set, and now they can compare again. And now they're 78th percentile. Okay, it's green. So this is a way of showing how aggregated, anonymized data sets can really help the consumer make decisions. So let's speak to the ownership end of it, okay? A few years ago, before GDPR, Facebook, Google, good luck trying to get your data out of their ecosystems, right? And it wasn't very clear. But thanks to GDPR, they really have to address this. Now, in the Wealthpool, from the ground up, we really address this right away. So with a click of a button, you have all the data available to you. We throw it out to a CSV file so you can have immediate access to it. And it's actually organized, okay? Instead of a bunch of entropy that you had before, we have it highly structured for you to review and do what you want with it. Now, with respect to security, there's really 3 levels of security, and I'm sure we'll go into detail with other speakers here at the conference. You have the network level, an application level, and of course the data level. Now, at the data level, your most powerful protection is encryption, both in transit and at rest, right? But what we're doing at the Wealthpool, we've partnered with a publicly traded company called Imperva, and it's a web application firewall. So with GDPR right now, companies have, if you have a customer in Europe, you're taking data from customers in Europe, you have to adhere to that regulation. The Wealthpool is in the United States, right? So as a startup, I don't have the resources that Facebook and Google have to hire attorneys and data scientists out there like you to comply right out of the gates, right? So as a stopgap measure, what we're doing is simply blocking all traffic coming into the Wealthpool. Okay, and that's what this web application firewall does. It's called Encapsula. So if you go to the Wealthpool, all data traffic is diverted to Imperva Encapsula's servers. It's filtered, it gets rid of the bots, and then the legitimate traffic comes into our servers. Okay, so I have an example of this. I have a woman, she's a financial coach, and she's in my beta, and she told me she was moving last time I saw her. And then she emailed me in a panic saying, hey, Ed, I can't get into the application. What's going on? I'm meeting with a client. She moved to Italy. She didn't tell me that. So the application really worked. What you see there in blue is a screenshot of the portal the Wealthpool sees. And we literally blocked all countries around the globe except the United States. This is the error message that she saw as a consumer on the front end. And what I did is I went in there into the application, the firewall, and whitelisted her IP address. So she was very pleased and was able to get up and going again. So we hear in wealth management, follow the money. Where's the smart money going? What should I invest in? Now you really have to think about following the data. And our personal balance sheets and income statements, the balance sheet obviously is assets, liabilities. But when we really think about it, how many pieces of data do we have with respect to assets? Your home, your car, maybe a few mutual funds. Okay, you can put it on one hand. Likewise, liabilities, you may have a mortgage, student loan. Okay, again, one hand. Inflows, typically have one salary. It'd be nice to have 5, right? But again, very little data coming from 3/4 of your financial statements. But it's outflows. I personally have over 1,000 transactions a year. A family of 4 has several thousand. They collect all this data, but they have no means to really analyze it, right? So it's spending that's really the issue. And here's an example where, and this is exactly my account. So I have historical data where I subscribe to Netflix, right? Those transactions are coming into my, the Wealthpool account. And I noticed that automatically we categorize that as video streaming subscription. Okay, we organize that for you. Now, we then seamlessly allow you to organize your entire spending history through our expansive data model, which has over 600 categories. So you get really granular, like you see here, entertainment and a subset video streaming subscription. Now, you want to make better decisions in the future. So we put this in your financial plan, okay, the $15 and change, it's monthly. Let's assume Netflix never raises pricing on us. We'll put in 0. Save that. So here's how our data comes to life for your future planning. It's a living expense, it's under entertainment, and there's Netflix under video streaming subscription. Happens automatically. You don't have to format any reports, do any math. That's the future of wealth management and financial wellness. So I was pleased to see that our editor of the Tech News, Ethan Castro, I was really pleased to see that he wrote a good article on the Wealthpool. We haven't launched yet. We aim to launch in the first quarter. But students here at IIT are going to experience the Wealthpool at no cost, and look forward to helping them build good financial habits before they reach out into the workplace. Thank you.